Hey everyone, welcome. We're about to dive into something pretty cool today, the hidden logic behind good design. We'll explore how it's not just about pretty buildings, but about literally building a better world for all of us. So let's get right into it.
You know that feeling, right? You walk into a space and it just feels good. Or you walk into another and something's just off. It's not just about how it looks. There's actually a science to this, all about how the world we build around us impacts how we feel. And that's where our story begins.
All right, so let's get into our first major topic, the big challenge of our concrete world. It's this constant push and pull, you know? We need to build things, cities, roads, homes, but we also have to protect the natural world that sustains us. So think about it like this. You've got the natural environment over here, all the forests, rivers, everything that was here long before us. And then you've got the built environment. That's all our stuff, cities, roads, houses. The thing is, they aren't two separate worlds, not at all. Our cities need the natural world for everything, like water and power. And in return, the natural world has to deal with all the pollution and waste our cities create. And this is the real kicker. Our built world is completely dependent on the natural one for its survival. But the more we build, the more we squeeze the planet. We're putting this incredible pressure on it, and you see the results everywhere. Climate change, resources running out, and a huge loss of plant and animal life. I mean, look at what happens when our cities get bigger. We have to clear land, right? Well, that destroys habitats. We use up water and materials way faster than nature can replace them. All of that leads to more pollution and, sadly, a massive loss of biodiversity. So the big question is, how do we fix this? How do we build better? How can we make cities that are actually good for us and the planet? Well, it turns out there's a kind of secret language that architects and planners use. It's a set of foundational principles for creating spaces that just work. You can think of them as the 7 golden rules of good design, the key to making spaces that are not just beautiful, but also incredibly functional. And these 7 rules, they apply to everything, from how you arrange furniture in your living room to how an entire city is laid out. They are aspect, prospect, grouping, privacy, roominess, circulation, and sanitation. Okay, that's a list. Let's actually break down a few of the most important ones to see what they really mean. Okay, first up is aspect. This is all about which way a building is facing, how it deals with the sun and wind. For example, a really smart design would have your bedroom facing east, so you wake up with that lovely morning sun. But your home office? Maybe that faces north, so you get nice, even light all day without any harsh glare. It's all about working with nature instead of fighting it, which makes a space way more comfortable and saves a ton of energy. Then there's prospect. This one's super simple. It's the view. It's what you see when you look out a window. And having a good view, like looking out onto a park or even just a few trees, isn't just a nice little bonus. It's actually been proven to lower stress, make you feel happier, and even help you think more clearly. It's a huge deal for our well-being. And I love this next one because it's just pure common sense. It's called grouping. A great way to think about it is you shouldn't have to run a marathon just to get from your kitchen to your dining room, right? It's all about putting rooms that work together. Kitchen next to the dining room, bathrooms near the bedrooms. It's just smart, efficient design that makes life easier. So, where do you actually see these rules in action? Well, a lot of the time, they're baked right into building codes and all that technical jargon. So let's decode one you might have actually heard of, something called the Floor Space Index, or FSI for short. Okay, so FSI, the Floor Space Index. All it is, really, is a rule that says how much building you can put on a piece of land. It's a simple ratio that stops cities from getting way too crowded. If you have a high FSI, you get taller buildings and more people packed in. A lower FSI means more spread out, low-rise buildings. It's a super powerful tool for shaping how a city looks and feels. And that kind of leads to a much bigger question. If we can use rules like this to design a better city block, why can't we use them to design for a better planet? And that's our cue to zoom out. We're going from thinking about just one building to a much, much bigger idea, designing for the health of the entire planet. This is really the heart of what we call sustainable design. It's this core belief that the health of our planet and the health of our cities are totally 100% connected. So what exactly is a sustainable or green building? Well, it's a building that's designed from day one to have the smallest possible footprint on the environment. It thinks about its entire life, from the day it's built to the day it's torn down. The goal is always to save resources and also to keep us healthy by using safe materials and making sure the air inside is clean to breathe.
And what's so cool about this is how it breaks down the big goals. It's not just about one thing, like saving energy. It's a whole picture approach. It looks at the building's entire life, from where the materials came from to where the waste goes. We're talking about huge reductions in energy and water use, making almost zero waste, and creating indoor spaces that are genuinely healthier for us to live and work in.
This right here, this quote, just says it all. With everything going on, our cities getting bigger, climate change getting more serious, designing this way isn't just a nice-to-have feature anymore. It's not optional. It is an absolute necessity. It's the only way we're going to build a future that works for everyone.
Okay, so this all sounds great in theory, but what do we actually use to build these amazing sustainable buildings? Let's open up the Green Building Toolkit and see what we've got. We're talking everything from cool new materials to some really smart technologies.
The choices for materials today are just incredible. You've got stuff that grows super fast, like bamboo, which is amazingly strong for how light it is. You've got recycled steel and reclaimed wood. And get this, we're even building with things that used to be considered waste, like straw bales and something called fly ash bricks. And this is where it gets really interesting for architects. It's like a material showdown. Let's say you need insulation. Do you go with something natural and cheap like straw bales? Perfect for a house out in the country. Or do you go for something industrial, like insulated concrete forms? They're super tough, great against fire, a much better fit for a tall city building. See? There's no one-size-fits-all answer. It's all about picking the right tool for the right job.
And we can't forget about the roof. A green roof, which is pretty much what it sounds like, a garden on your roof, is an absolute powerhouse. First, it acts as insulation, which means lower energy bills, and it helps cool the whole city down. It also soaks up rainwater like a sponge, which helps prevent flooding. And on top of all that, it creates a little oasis for birds and insects, boosting biodiversity right in the heart of the city. How cool is that?
Here's another super smart, but actually really simple tool, rainwater harvesting. The logic is so straightforward. Rain hits the roof, it flows down through some pipes, gets a quick filter, and then it's stored in a tank. You can use that water for all sorts of things, like watering your garden or flushing toilets. It's a fantastic way to take pressure off the main water supply, which is a huge deal, especially in places that don't get a lot of rain. So all of this, it brings us to one last, really powerful thought. For centuries, our buildings have just taken from the planet. But what if we could flip that script? With smart design, with these amazing new materials, with a focus on working with nature, what if our buildings could actually give back more than they take? What if they could generate their own power, clean their own water, maybe even grow their own food? That's not science fiction. That's the future that good design is building for us right now.